What is going on, YouTube? This is yours truly, ATUM-RE, coming at you with another video. Before we go in, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and share that video. Today's video is going to be about the mass shootings that we had over the last week, I should say. We had quite a few. I wouldn't say even mass shootings because you had a mass stabbing as well. I'm going to talk about that too. But before I go in, I just want to say if you are over 18 to 21 years old and you're not a felon, go out there and exercise your right to bear arms. Take advantage of it. It's your right. If you are a felon and you have, paid your debt to society, if you think you paid your debt to society, do whatever it takes, man, to get your rights back. Because, again, self-preservation is your birthright, and the Second Amendment, is put here for us to be able to defend ourselves against, tyrannical government and also evil. And that's what we want to talk about today. I just want to tell you that 911 takes minutes and violence happens in seconds. So dialing 911 is not a good option for self-defense, especially when you're out in the world, even when you're at home. You are responsible for you. The police are not responsible for you. The military is not responsible for you. The government is not responsible for you. You are responsible for your own safety. So you are your own security. So therefore, you better be the first responder. You better be the one that's alert and have your head on a swivel. But anywho, let's go ahead and get into it. Walmart over this weekend, there was a mass stabbing. Can you believe that? A mass stabbing. Goes to show you that you don't need a gun to create carnage. And Walmart, I know many people made videos about it, but they turned their back on the 2A community a few years ago. They had some incidents a few years ago, but they folded like a lawn chair and decided, hey, we're gonna piss on this, the 2A community by not selling handgun ammo and certain rifle ammo. Well, screw you, fuck you, I'll say it on camera, because guess what? People are unarmed, there were no guns involved, there were still many people that were hurt. I think there were 11 people that got stabbed. And guess what stopped all this carnage? That's right, a good citizen with a firearm, a veteran of the military. I want to say props to that brother for doing what he did and actually apprehending that lunatic. And I also want to give props to him for having the fortitude and the patience not to send that guy to the upper room. He didn't kill him. And it goes back to what I was saying. We have our Second Amendment right. We're not looking to unalive people. We will apprehend them if we can. But, worst come to worst, that person will get mowed down. Police sure probably wouldn't have had that kind of patience. But I'm just glad that it worked out, that he was able to apprehend that idiot before he did more carnage. And I'm also glad that the police did not get it misconstrued, and they knew who the bad guy was and who the good guy was. So everything worked out there. But the moral of the story is that you cannot legislate away evil. You can take away all the guns in the world and people are still going to be evil. As a matter of fact, you take all the guns away in the world, women really don't have any way to protect themselves. A big 300-pound man catch a woman walking in Central Park by herself, and she's only 120 pounds. What's she going to be able to do? Absolutely nothing. Even a pocket knife probably won't get her too far. Having a firearm is what we call the force multiplier. It puts everyone on an even playing field. Now, owning a firearm does not give you absolute supreme safety. It gives you a fighting chance. If that guy in Walmart would come behind you and start stabbing you, while you got your back turned, there's not much you can do about it. But again, being alert and being armed is your best chance to be able to deal with an idiot like that. But yeah, you got to be alert, keep your head on the swivel. And I keep saying this over and over again in all these mass shooting videos. I hate even talking about this crap. But they always strike during prime time. There are a lot of people around. That's why, again, I don't do any kind of shopping, really. I try not to do shopping on the weekend, but I'm guilty of it. But I try my very best to do my shopping during the week. off-peak hours, because these kind of people, they want to hurt as many people as they can. Hurting one person is not enough. We got to hurt a multitude of people at one time. All right, so that's what happened at Walmart. Again, Walmart, y'all suck for turning your back on the Second Amendment community, and still had carnage happen in your store with a knife. Imagine if all the people that person ran up on had a gun. That would have been over much quicker. So again, I urge every citizen, law-abiding citizen, go out there, get some training, get yourself a firearm. That's your best chance against these evil lunatics out here. But we also had another incident in New York City. Yes, that's right, New York City, a place where it's almost so hard to get, it's very, very, very hard to get a firearm, to the point where they actually discourage law-abiding citizens into not even applying for their permit, because they make it hard for people to get firearms. Super liberal, and unfortunately, an idiot with a rifle went, and shot up a building. Was an NFL employee, got hurt, but he shot multiple people. I think it was 11 people, 5 people that got killed. And again, if everyone would have been alert and armed, there's a possibility that there could have been less people killed. I understand that you just get caught off guard, someone mow you down with a rifle. That's not much you can do. But unfortunately, there was probably not many people around that had a firearm that could have did anything, especially private citizens, because again, only people that these strong gun laws affect are going to be law-abiding citizens. Criminals are not going to have any issues, because again, what that guy did was criminal activity. He came from many borders away to commit this crime. And again, unfortunately, New York City, the place that's supposed to be the safest place in the world, guess what happened? Somebody got, many people were killed, many people were actually shot, and unfortunately, this is something that's happening over and over again in these liberal cities where you can't not defend yourself. And also want to let CNN know, we see you. We know that you tried to say that this guy was a white guy, which in term he's actually a black guy. Unfortunately, CNN has a race agenda, and I try to tell all of my brethren that you cannot deal with any news media that uses racism as a premise. They didn't have any of the actual facts and call that guy a white guy. I'm like, whoa, that guy not white at all, not at all. But that's CNN for you. You don't want fake news, you want real news. It's easy to sway people that way. But unfortunately, New York City, the safe city, so they say. People are getting stabbed, people are getting shot over and over again. But I feel bad for my citizens in New York. But this premise that taking away firearms is going to make us safer is a bunch of baloney. Not. We also had something that happened in Rio as well. Multiple people were shot there. I think there were 3 people that actually died. And again, my condolences goes out to anyone that were hurt in these incidents, and also to the families of the people that were hurt, or anyone that was deceased in these incidents. It's senseless, but again, your only chance against evil is the Second Amendment, arming up and being alert. There's also, I live in Metro Atlanta, as many of you guys may know, in Edgewood, and their little club district. We had someone that sprayed a crowd. I think like 11 people got shot all at once. They're shooting people all at once. And I'm not saying don't go out and have fun, but when you go out to crowded places where there are a lot of strangers, just understand that there's always a possibility that some lunatic can come up and spray a crowd. And I like to go out and have fun. I like to go to festivals. I like to go to amusement parks, things of that nature. But I'm very weary, and I have my head on a swivel. And like I said, I hope I'm not in the wrong place at the wrong time, because again, you can be armed to the teeth, but if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, it's not going to matter. Some guy with an AR-15 want to mow you down, you're the first person they see, and you don't see it coming. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. We are reacting from a defensive perspective, and they're coming from an offensive perspective. It's much easier to be offensive than to be defensive, because you got to react to what they do, and you got to do it quickly. And 911 is definitely not fast enough to react to that. So for anyone that got it in their head thinking that the police is going to save them, they're not. They're not. The police will come there to scrape up your body or to collect evidence, but they're not there. Not going to be there in time to protect you. They would like to do it, but they're not just going to be there. They're not going to pop up like a gypsy anytime that you get in trouble. Again, you are responsible for your own safety. And again, arm up, train with that arm, and stay alert. Because having a firearm on your person and you're not alert, you got your head down, all on your phone, not paying attention to your surroundings, you still may end up, going to the upper room, and unfortunately. And sometimes you can do everything right and it still happens that way. But that's pretty much all I have, guys. I hate talking about these videos, but again, your only shot at defending yourself against evil is to arm up and be alert. Because calling the police, praying that nothing's going to happen, that is definitely not a good look and not a good strategy, in my opinion. The best, way to combat this is to be dangerous, man. Arm up, stay alert, teach everyone that you know about firearms, as much as you can. A lot of people in my family are not receptive to them, unfortunately. Some people I talk to about firearms, their eyes are like crawls. They just don't get it. It doesn't line up. But I have got my nephew. He used to come around. My wife, she's into firearms. There are a few other people. I have a cousin that's into firearms, but my immediate family, not really. My sister has some interest. My niece, she has interest in firearms, but for the most part, everyone wants to hang on to, God's going to save me, the police is going to come, or a lot of people go by this: nothing ever happened to me in my life. That is definitely not a good thing. Nothing's never happened. I've never had to shoot anyone. I've never been robbed, but there's a possibility that can happen. There's a reason why people wear a seatbelt. I've never flown out of a car, but I wear a seatbelt to prevent that from happening, if that makes sense. Just because it never happened doesn't mean it can. And I'd rather have a gun and not need it, and need it and not have it, if that makes sense. But I'm not going to talk your heads off. I'm not trying to make a super long video, but it has been a very, very violent summer so far. And that's what all of my followers and all my family and people out there, to stay safe, stay vigilant, stay armed. And that is all I have, guys. I'll catch you in the next video. Like always, 2A up.